Right, YouTube, Shadow King Nazru, and happy May 4th. Put on my Star Wars Stormtrooper shirt today in celebration for that. Unfortunately, this is not a Star Wars related video. It's about Dragon Ball, specifically the Dragon Ball Super Manga. And I'm not looking forward to talking about it. But people wanted to know what my thoughts are on about this whole Granolah arc thing. I mean, they should have already figured that it was that it'd be negative, considering that I've not been positive about the Dragon Ball Super manga done by Toyotaro since Battle of Gods. I think every arc afterwards is garbage. At least the ones done by him. But, I mean, I guess just for completion's sake, they just want to know what my thoughts are so far. I mean, this one, admittedly, I haven't been paying that much attention to because the moral arc was just so awful, so convoluted, and so much wasted potential that it kind of burnt me out. And on top of that, I kind of heard that this is taking inspirations from the baby arc from Dragon Ball GT, which I am not a fan of. Not just because it's an arc from GT, but I just really did not like the baby arc. But I just figured I should get my thoughts. As for like this Granolah character, for what I've heard, his character design looks something. I mean, some people try to say he's like a scientist or something. I honestly, he kind of looks more like a mercenary or a smuggler that you see like a sci-fi film like Star Wars or something along those lines. I mean, I'm not over the hills over it, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. Just kind of. And apparently, one of his motivations is to get revenge on Frieza and the Saiyan race. So he pretty much has the same motivation as a lot of other people in the universe, which is kind of. I mean, it's whatever, really. But the dumb parts, the really dumb parts, that is what I felt like was worth making this video on. So, Goku and Vegeta are continuing their training with Beerus and Whis, and apparently Whis is trying to teach Goku how to improve Ultra Instinct. Despite the fact that he's able to fully go into that form, and now Toyotaro is adding drawbacks into it, which this is pretty much a common thing with Toyotaro. He always, whenever he backs himself into a corner and feels like he's kind of made the characters too powerful, he adds in drawbacks, which should have been there earlier, but he just does it now out of hindsight because he's such a terrible writer. I mean, he wouldn't have gotten himself into this point if he had just have Goku fully be able to unlock Ultra Instinct Omen at will, but he still needs to progress to obtain Mastered Ultra Instinct. I think being able to fully go into Mastered Ultra Instinct at will and have control over it, that should be the end game thing for Super. I think that should be Goku's end game goal. But Toyotaro, he kind of blew his load. This is the equivalent of putting in Doomsday in Batman v Superman. You blew your load, and now you're back into a corner. And that is for Vegeta. Apparently, he's training with Beerus to learn the Hakai. Now, I've said before it was stupid that Goku could use the Hakai because one, that made him overpower, and two, it was established that the gods of destructions are the ones that are supposed to be using this technique. So when you make this, when you have the Z fighters use it, they're always going to have that hacks ability, and you're just going to keep in that question in your head. Oh, why don't they just use Hakai against the enemy? I mean, honestly, I'm surprised nobody's asked about that during the Moro arc. But honestly, it's just so pathetic, really, that Toyotaro has to make give Vegeta Hakai just to make him more relevant, so he doesn't get that outclassed by Goku with his Ultra Instinct. And apparently, there's a scene where Beerus used the Hakai to destroy a planet, and both Goku and Vegeta are just awed by it because it destroyed a planet instantly. Like, why the hell are you impressed by this? You guys can do that even without the powers of a god of destruction. I mean, I'm really sick of Goku and Vegeta being awestruck at things that they are themselves should be capable of. This is not that big of a deal. And there was so what else did they tell me about? Apparently there's also a new set of Dragon Balls created by this Namekian that was on the same planet that Granolah was on. And instead of using the traditional 7 like the Earth, Namekian, and Super Dragon Balls do, these only use 2 Dragon Balls. And Granolah uses it to wish to be the strongest being in Universe 7. And that wish goes through, apparently, but at the cost of shortening his life to down to 3 years. I believe that's what I've been told. Okay, that. On the one hand, I'm glad that that this wasn't a consequence-free wish. So at least Toyotaro's not that stupid to do that. But at the same time, it shouldn't be that easy to become the strongest person in the universe. I mean, just think of all the villains who wanted supreme power. Well, just imagine, oh, wait, why don't I just use the Dragon Balls to make me the strongest person in the universe? And then, boom, they can do that. That just really undermines Dragon Ball. This whole thing about working to become the most powerful person you can be. Like, maybe this is what Toyotaro and Toriyama are trying to do. Like, you can't cut corners to improve yourself. If so, this was a poorly executed way to do it. I'm not sure this was Toriyama's idea or Toyotaro's, though I'm more leaning towards Toyotaro, considering how inept this idea and execution is. And you figure that with like only 2 Dragon Balls, that they would actually be weaker than the standard Dragon Balls and the Super Dragon Balls. But they would be easier. Then it's easier to summon their version of Shenron. But no, apparently you can grant that wish just at the cost of life. And honestly, another problem with that is that they have an extra set of Dragon Balls. You could just probably get the Earth or the Namekian, or even by some chance he gets the Super Dragon Balls. He could just wish to have the rest of his lifespan back, or even wish for immortality, and boom. But the problem is the drawback is negated. You see, this is the kind of stupid stuff that you would expect from something like CW's Batwoman. And I honestly did not think that we would ever reach a point where Dragon Ball would be at the that low of a level. Batwoman is like one of the worst. Is one of if not the worst shows I have ever seen in my entire life, and it has a terrible version of the Batwoman from the comics. This is honestly the worst version of a superhero I've ever seen. I honestly hate that version of Batwoman more than I hate Raimi Man, and you guys know how much I hate the Raimi Man trilogy. Which kind of proves that I'm also not looking forward to Iron Boy Jr. No Way Home. But sorry for that tangent. And so yeah, there's a problem with that wish. And it's just really and all the stupidity that's going with it. And there's this latest chapter, 71, where Goku is learning how to use Ultra Instinct at base. I haven't looked too much into it, and I'm sure on this, like a lot of people who are reading this are looking at it on the surface level and thinking that it's so deep, it's going to lead to the end of Z, where Goku is able to fight on par with Oob, who's the strongest Kid Buu, but in his base form. Or it's going to tie into the theme that you don't need all these exuberant transformations to be extremely powerful. This is all what we've been waiting for. I say it's just more that Toyotaro backed himself into a corner, and this is just his response to it. I mean, on the surface level, sure, that seems kind of cool that you can use Ultra Instinct in your base, but at the same time, I think a more natural progression would have been that you have started with Ultra Instinct Omen, get control over that, and then have by the end of the series give him the completed version of Ultra Instinct. And if you maybe have some time, maybe learn how to use some Ultra Instinct in your base. But as is, this whole thing feels rushed. And from what I've heard, they're trying to say that the Goddess Destruction techniques are more powerful than what the angels can do, which is completely asinine, because it's been established ever since Battle of Gods that the angels are superior to the Gods of Destruction. They're supposed to be the countermeasure if they ever get out of hand, like when Beerus was destroying planets when he ate that hot sauce, and then Whis karate chopped him on the neck and knocking him out. It shows that Whis, and by principle, angels are superior to Gods of Destruction. Why do you think Gods of Destruction are trying to spend millions of years trying to learn Ultra Instinct and perfect it? This just proves constantly, time and time again, that Toyotaro is a fucking idiot, and that Dragon Ball has no future with him. It's just gonna get worse and worse with him still there. But yeah, I'm sorry that's not as much as my other rants. But like I said, I really don't care as much about this arc. I've already written this off as it's going to be a complete mess. I mean, granted, I've said that about pretty much every other arc Toyotaro's done, but this one didn't even manage to capture my interest from the get-go. But those were all my thoughts. I'm sure there's going to be Toyotaro defenders who try to say why I'm wrong, or why this is some work of art, some kind of masterpiece. Just stop. It's already well established that Toyotaro is not a good writer. He's hardly competent as an artist either. I mean, he's not that great. He even has to resort to tracing and just recycling stuff that's come before. But yeah, this is garbage. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this whole thing. Do you think it's worthless trash, or do you somehow think that Toyotawa is gonna pull a home run on this? I'll catch you guys later.